Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Jeffrey Epstein Show. I'm your host, Bobbycapucci, and this is Daily Drop number 50. All right, so in our continuing Andrew coverage, we have another article from the Daily Mail. And in this article, it's going to discuss how Ghislaine Maxwell was at Buckingham Palace just a few nights before the U.S. prosecutors reopened the probe into Jeffrey Epstein. So, let's jump right into this article. Prince Andrew secretly met with Jeffrey Epstein's madam, Ghislaine Maxwell, at Buckingham Palace just a fortnight after U.S. prosecutors reopened probe into pedophile. Prince Andrew secretly met his friend Ghislaine Maxwell at Buckingham Palace in early June, just a fortnight after U.S. prosecutors announced they were reopening their inquiry into the activities of convicted pedophile Jeffrey Epstein, their mutual friend. Yeah, that's being a bit kind, their mutual friend, huh? How about their mutual accomplice? Miss Maxwell, the daughter of disgraced newspaper tycoon Robert Maxwell, has been accused of procuring underage girls for Epstein. She denies the claims. She's also been accused of raping girls with Jeffrey Epstein. Andrew, 59, met Maxwell on June 6th inside the prince's private palace quarters, and she is said to have brought 4 other people along with her. Huh. What is she doing in the prince's private palace quarters? And I thought they weren't talking about Epstein. You know, they had thought that it was time to move on, I thought. I thought he didn't speak for Maxwell either. Isn't that what he said? They were all smartly dressed and looked very official. They stayed for about 2 hours. It seems very likely they would have been discussing the fallout from Epstein's misdemeanors and what they planned to do about it, a source told The Sun. Yeah, you know, that you would think that's what they were doing, right? Why else would they be getting together like that? We all know what they were up to. We all know that they were involved in this stuff together. We all know that they were thick as thieves. So, come on now. Let's be honest here. All the evidence. Look, if this was just a one-time thing, you could make the case that, come on, you're being a little bit crazy. Stop jumping the gun. There's no evidence there. But there's a ton of evidence here. And we're not talking about hearsay. We're not talking about I heard it from a friend who heard it from a friend. We're talking about pictures. We're talking about verbal accounts by pilots, chefs, gardeners, housekeepers, you name it. There is plenty to build a case here. Plenty. Andrew and Maxwell's palace meeting came shortly before she set off on the Cash and Rocket charity motoring rally from London. Maxwell joined a host of celebrities such as Paris Hilton and Chloe Green for the glitzy all-woman supercar rally, which finished 4 days later in Monaco. This is the problem, folks. How is she still running with these people? How are they still accepting her? Are they this oblivious to the news? Anybody who does a quick Google search of Jeffrey Epstein, one of the quick first things that pops up is Ghislaine Maxwell. And if you've read the stuff about her, how could you in good conscience hang out with her? Unless you just don't care. She was conspicuously absent from publicity photographs taken during the high-profile event, and all reference to her was deleted from the rally's website today. Yeah, of course, let's protect ourselves, let's save face, let's make sure nobody knows Ghislaine Maxwell was hanging out with us, because we wouldn't want them to know we were hanging out with a pedophile. Well, here's an idea. If you don't want people to know that, don't do it. Pretty simple, pretty straightforward. All right? She should be shunned. You know, you got people that won't even talk to family members over politics, and yet people like this, let's shrug our shoulders, no big deal. Where are the pitchforks? Where are the torches? Where's the justice? The 57-year-old British socialite and pedophile, I'm adding that by the way, shared car number 28 with Nettie Mason, the wife of Pink Floyd rock star Nick Mason, for the duration of the event. Aw, isn't that nice? I guess we're all just another brick in the wall, huh? A week before the meeting, the Duke of York returned from a tour of Canada on May 29th. All right, so in the article, we have one of those blurbs again. It says, gathering storm of U.S. investigation into Jeffrey Epstein before Prince Andrew met Ghislaine Maxwell. So it's establishing a timeline within the article. February, the U.S. Department of Justice reveals its intention to review a plea deal given to Jeffrey Epstein. He had escaped sex trafficking charges in 2008 after a secret arrangement with prosecutors saw him admit to a lesser charge of soliciting a minor for prostitution. U.S. lawmakers call for him to face federal criminal charges for sex trafficking minors. March. Virginia Roberts has her appeal heard in relation to the district judge's refusal to unseal documents relating to a 2017 defamation settlement between her and Maxwell. Roberts testifies that she was directed by Maxwell to give erotic massages and engage in sexual activities with Prince Andrew, among others. April. A new accuser named Maria Farmer files a sworn affidavit in a federal court in New York in which she alleges that she and her 15-year-old sister were sexually assaulted by Epstein and Maxwell in 1996. June. Prince Andrew and Maxwell meet in London on or about June 5th. A day later, she goes on a charity rally to Monaco. July. Epstein is arrested in New Jersey on July 6th. 2 days later, he is charged with sex trafficking and conspiracy to traffic minors for sex. August. Epstein is found dead in his cell in New York on August 10th. Wow. All right. Back to the regular article. On June 1st, he attended a salute of the Grenadier Guards at the Palace and a reception at Wellington Barracks. Then, on June 3rd, Andrew met Donald Trump at the Palace for the state banquet and had breakfast with him at St. James Palace the following day. The Duke was absent from D-Day's 75th anniversary in Portsmouth, I guess, on June 5th, while on June 6th, there were no royal engagements. During his disastrous BBC interview last week, Andrew was asked when he last saw Miss Maxwell. It was earlier this year, funnily enough, in the spring. She was here doing some rally, he replied. The car rally is believed to be her last visit to the UK. Meanwhile, the Duke of York intends to make a grand comeback after clearing his name, the Mail on Sunday has been told, but sources say that his brazen self-belief, which palace insiders believe is misplaced, risks putting him on a potential collision course with the Prince of Wales. Prince Charles was instrumental in effectively sacking his younger brother last week. And while Andrew's statement said he was stepping back from public duties for the foreseeable future, it is understood that Charles has every intention of making his expulsion permanent. A royal source said Andrew believes that he can repair his shattered image simply by speaking to the FBI about the Epstein scandal. Oh boy, you're asking for big trouble. Do you see what they did to everybody who spoke to them in this whole entire Russia collusion case? I mean, nobody got nailed for the actual colluding with Russia. Oh no, they got nailed for process crimes. And that's the same thing that happened to Clinton when he was getting impeached. It was all process crimes, perjury, blah, blah, blah. Give me a break. It was all process crimes. And that's what the FBI is good at. They'll get you talking, and then they'll say, oh, well, you lied to us, so now that's a count of lying to a federal agent. Now you're in big trouble, and then it snowballs from there. So he better really mind his P's and Q's. He's on thin ice. The FBI is not a group of people that if you're even remotely guilty, you want to be talking to. That view has raised eyebrows among senior palace courtiers who fear he can never regain public trust. Of Andrew's planned comeback, a source said, I can't see that Charles would ever let it happen, and many at the palace just want him out of the scene now. End of. It's effectively an early retirement. The permanent departure of Andrew would assist Charles's aim of creating a more streamlined and cost-effective monarchy when he becomes king. Other royal families are already tightening their belts. In Sweden, King Carl Gustaf recently removed 5 of his grandchildren from the firm. Andrew is said to be keen for his representatives to make an approach to the FBI and is thought to be discussing the matter with his legal team. The feeling is there is no other way he can clear his name unless the FBI say there are no charges to face, the source said. The only way he can do that is to volunteer to talk under oath. He has said that he is innocent in what he is accused of and wants to clear his name. Well, let's see how brazen you really are when the hammer really starts to come, because I got to tell you right now, it is not the right time to be messing around when you're talking about dealing with the FBI, right? The FBI lives for tripping people up. So you certainly don't want to be messing around with them. And Prince Charles is definitely playing with fire. There's no doubt about it. Prince Andrew is playing with fire. And while the Duke has understandably been devastated that it has come to this, insiders say he is naively positive that he can survive the storm. Under the circumstances, he was in good spirits, said a friend who spoke to him in recent days. A palace source said he stepped back because it proved disruptive with all of the allegations over his friendship, but if that gets resolved, it clears the way. Putting a time frame on that is a different matter. Look, this is how tone deaf he is, right? He's worried about coming back into public life. How about the girls? How about the young ladies who were assaulted by your buddy? You should be so ashamed that you even associated with him that you shouldn't want to come back into public life. Take your disgrace like a man. That's all right, because you have a lot more pain coming your way, Prince Andrew, than worrying about public life, my friend. Meanwhile, there is continued confusion surrounding Andrew's role at Pitch Palace, the platform for entrepreneurs he founded. Barclays became the latest firm to withdraw support from the scheme, even though the bank's sponsorship was not up for renewal for about 10 months. While some say Andrew is clinging on to his pet project, others insist it has already been forced to stand aside. Buckingham Palace last night said the Duke will continue to work on Pitch and will look at how he takes this forward outside of his public duties, but the project must be moved outside of the palace. As of last month, there were plans for global expansion, but with the dwindling sponsors and no palace to provide the glamour, many doubt the venture will survive for much longer. Last night, royal friends were still coming forward to protect the prince in the media, as they have done many times before. I've been in a sauna with him. He has never sweated, one said. He doesn't party. He is not a party person, only drinks water and tea. He goes to bed at 11:30 p.m. and wakes up at 7:30 a.m., 7 days a week. If you translate what he said in the interview, he is very sorry. Yeah, if you translate what he said in the interview, he's not sorry. If you translate what he said in the interview, all he cares about is his image. And you guys that are talking about, oh, he doesn't do this, he doesn't do that, well, you're enablers. You're just as guilty now. See how this ring expands? This is a RICO case, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen. Nevertheless, the Duke remains under intense scrutiny. Yesterday, it emerged he stayed at the lavish Caribbean estate of fashion designer Peter Nygard, who was accused of sexually harassing 3 female employees. Once dubbed the Canadian Hugh Hefner, Nygard settled cases out of court before Andrew and his ex-wife Sarah visited his home in the Bahamas. Well, there you have it, folks. More to go on with our good friend Prince Andrew. I mean, is the evidence not overwhelming at this point? Is it not to the point where you're saying to yourself every time you see a headline, you're not surprised when it just becomes deeper and deeper and more depraved? His own family has shunned him at this point. All right? They all know what's going on here. They know that he's in big trouble, and they know that the FBI is going to swing the hammer. So stay tuned, folks. There's going to be a lot more coming on this front, and this is the front that we're following because this is where the action is right now. Maxwell's in the wind, right? So this is the only person who's been credibly accused who is here for scrutiny. And the media in the UK, I have to give them their props. They're going pretty hard right now, and I think it's because there's an uproar of English citizens. I've had several emails from people from England, and they're just mortified by what's going on. So we're going to keep on this, and we're going to keep going forward with it, and we're going to see where it leads us. All right, folks, if you want to get in contact with me, you can do that at BobbyCapucci@protonmail.com. That's Bobbycapucci@protonmail.com. And if you would like to support the show, you will be able to find our GoFundMe link in the description box. All right, everyone, hope you had a great Saturday night. I will be back tomorrow morning with a morning update.